these people.
It's been
My
wild.
patience.
It's been wild, man. So we gonna get started, man. We gonna break this one off tonight because I got a lot to say about a lot of stuff that's going on in these United States of America, brother. Believe that.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's right.
For sure. For Zizzo. Yeah, we gonna cut the intro. We just gonna cut the intro short this Sunday, bro. That's how.
Wow.
That's how much I want to get into. I ain't playing today, man. I have that. There's no play. Dude. I've had people come at me like you would not believe, my friend. It has been crazy nuts, Dexter. You are missing it. I got to get you out of here. Dude, I need you.
Yeah.
I need you on the front lines, my friend. I'm telling you straight up. People are going, look. These not the baby boomers, but these Gen Xers who have never been through what we would consider to be a skirmish in race relations, who have never been there, are losing their mind. Now, when Rodney King, now you and I remember this here. Now, Carl is on the other end tonight. Carl's gonna be right here with us because Carl ain't going nowhere tonight. Because they was attacking Carl like you.
I'm here.
They was attacking Carl like crazy. I hit one of the dudes up that attacked Carl, and the dude went and tried to pull my whole profile because they was mad because I defended Carl and what he was saying. But let us give you some backdrop, a little bit of why all this stuff. So it kind of started with what's that kid, Carmelo Anthony? Did I get his name right?
Carmelo. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony.
Right. Now, do you know about that kid, Dexter?
I mean, I only know that I've only heard his name, but I don't know too much about him.
Okay, so he's a kid that stabbed the other kid who told him to leave a tent or whatever, right? So that's
okay.
Yeah. So
I was thinking of a sports figure. Okay, so the stabbing. I remember the stabbing at that event. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So they so was trying to use that to start a race war, right? And it was oh my God, everything blew up and was going crazy, right? And so that didn't work. That didn't work as well as your your Charlie Kurtz and your Nick Fuentes wanted it to, because they were pushing hard, dude. They was telling white people, oh my God, the black people are after you. The black people want you. You better, it was ugly, man. It was just an ugly thing. So, I had to call up my in-laws and ask them if they was afraid of me. No. Just to check. I call up my dad. I call up my dad who married my mom in 1977. A white man out of Boise, Idaho. I had to call my dad up and ask him, "Are you okay? You don't think black people are coming after you?" My dad, he's cracking up, right? Because they was out here saying this stuff, bro. They were really out here trying to make these white people believe that black people want to shoot and kill them. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know what they're talking about.
Listen, I've heard, believe it or not, I've heard that stuff, specifically that stuff before. The last time I heard it was when there was a little bit of this was a few years ago. There was a guy named, now I can't remember his name. Jesus, but he's some kind of academic. He worked for some conservative publication, and he published this thing called, I think it's called the Letter or something like that. The Talk, the white guy, and basically he writes this kind of letter, open letter to his teenage son, telling his you have to, if you find yourself at a gathering where there's more than a certain number of black people, you should leave. This isn't racism. This is just science. Whatever, breaking down exactly why. Like, don't be around black people because if you're around black people, violence might ensue, and they don't like you. I mean, so this thing really, it's not really original. It's not really unique. It's just like that's the kind of thing that some of these 50 political hacks get into every now and then because, well, I don't know, because their engagement numbers need boosting, or because they're dying for some attention, or whatever. So that's what I would say to that. Again, I'll say about Nick Fuentes, I would say to you what I said before, which is we have to remember that Nick said that there's 99% chance that Nick Fuentes is a federal asset. So, one shouldn't be surprised when federal assets get into the ring on social media and try to stir things up, because that's kind of how they do.
But Nick is a Mexican.
Well, yeah, but I don't care.
But what I'm saying is, I get what you're saying, but I'm sitting here and I go, all these white people are listening to this cat say the things that he said, but he's a Mexican. That throws me off.
I've been in these circles. I've worked in these circles before, and basically there's a population of people online where it doesn't matter what the person's last name is, right? It doesn't even matter if he's an obvious 50, as Nick Fuentes is, when you look at him for 5 seconds. You're like, well, wait a minute, this dude's kind of funny. It doesn't matter. Like, if he says the right kind of negative thing about black people, people are going to enjoy that. That's just how that is. And they're going to be like, yeah, Nick is our guy. So, I mean, that's just how it is, right? And what in my online travels, I've seen that, the game is wide open. I've had Iranian cats come at me with that racial bullshit. Seriously. I've had Iranian dudes come at me like, oh, in my country, we don't like black people because you want this. And I'm like, bro, I really care, man. It's like your country's being run by men in dresses, and your unemployment rate is sky high. You're like, really? Like, fix that. Fix your shit first, bro, and then come and tell us, go fix your country. It's the kind of thing where, yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't even say it's blood sport because there's no blood involved. It's just sport to them, and that's what I imagine is with what's his name? Charlie Kirk dying for some attention. He's dying for some attention. Yeah. And so that's what that is.
Right. So
that is funny.
So the whole Carmelo Anthony thing didn't drop off the way they wanted it to, right?
Of course not. It never does. Yeah.
So the newest thing here in Minnesota, right down the street from me, probably it's an hour and a half drive to this place called Rochester. So in Rochester, Minnesota, and I'll give you some more detail on this here that I did some calling around, and I got some information from some people, and I found some stuff out. Yeah. But what happened was, so the biggest thing now that they're using to try to push this narrative that black people want to kill white people. So this white lady in Rochester, Minnesota, decided that this black, well, at the time, I'm going to go with what they were saying at the time. Okay. So in Rochester, Minnesota, this white woman called this black kid a nigger with the ER.
Okay.
All right. And it went viral.
Okay.
Not only did she say that, but she doubled down on it. Not only did she double down on it, but she flipped them off and then doubled down on it.
Oh, shit.
But hold on, Dexter. Right. But hold on. I got more.
Yeah.
I got more. That's what I told you. I needed to talk to you tonight, bro.
Okay.
Not only did she double down on it, but this woman got over $500,000 donated to her for saying the N-word. They paid. The what they say, the MAGA, the alt-right, all of them got behind her and was like, that's our princess right there.
But hold up a second. When they say pay her $5,000, she had a gift and go or something?
Yeah. To go. What was that, Carla? GoFundMe?
Okay, but wait a minute. Why did she ever GoFundMe in the first place? What was the? I'm guessing there was some kind of dispute or a court thing or a case.
No,
or something.
No, bro, no. She went and said she went and played victim. She went and put the crocodile tears out. She went and put the crocodile tears out and said to protect my hold on. Let me make sure you understand what I just told you. She chased the little black boy around the playground. She called the little black boy a nigger, and then when they videotaped her, she said, if he's going to act like a nigger, I'm going to call him a nigger. And because of that, white people got behind her and when she started her GoFundMe to protect her family, which nobody was messing with her family. But when she almost got $1 million, brother.
Wait a minute. So let me get this straight.
Go ahead.
There's no case against her. There's no case. Isn't that the lawyer?
Nope, no case against her. Nope, nothing.
So in other words, she didn't. Wait a minute. She started GoFundMe. What expenses was she defraying? Any? Like,
no.
I don't get it.
She started.
Wow.
Now you understand what we're saying. And they paid her, but they paid her off the point of them saying white people are fed up with black people messing with white people. That's the whole logic around this whole thing.
Right.
And so this is the race war that these Gen Xers. I'm sitting here going, if they really wanted a race war, it would have been during Rodney King. See, a lot of the, like I said, Carl don't remember that. A lot of these people who are out here, the Nick Fuentes, the Charlie, they don't remember Rodney King. If they really wanted a race war, that's when they would have got one. If they really, really wanted one.
I mean, look, it's like, again, this is just more,
I think Dexter dropped off.
Nothing's better than someone who just has their skin. You just feel like you're a human being. You're born with so much, and it's like you've been reduced to celebrate. And that's what people that have any color, by the way. Doesn't matter what color you are. All you're doing is celebrating your skin, bro. Like you're a sad individual. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? Old girl, thought out a confrontation. Sounds like, and then got a payday.
She got a payday. Okay. She made out like a bandit, dude.
She got a payday. Okay.
You know what? But what I'm saying, I don't blame her. I don't blame her because you can. The one of the things that I can tell you for a fact, not that I'm guessing on it, not that I'm putting it out there. Because I was in the room. Yeah. The one of the things that I can tell you, the Republicans and the MAGA, you can pull wool over them like Candace Owens. We know this. You can pull wool over their face like you would if oh my God, what's that dude? Officer Brandon? Brandon, what's it?
Brandon Tatum, yeah.
They will buy all of that crap.
Well, look, brother, you don't have to even. I mean, look, there's no room you have to be in to know that. I mean, these days, when MAGA people or anyone really on the conservative side, tries to come off at me about this and that, it's like, look, I'm not going to take any lectures from people who walk their asses into the biggest federal honeypot in living memory. You just walk yourself into a federal setup on J6. I mean, look, I'm glad most of those guys got off because it was ridiculous. Like, what, walking through the and taking selfies and like you're a terrorist now? No, I'm glad they got off. But what I'm saying is, yeah, man, it's like when people are not thinking clearly, when they're not reasoning clearly, yeah, it's easy to fool them. It's easy to fool them, and when people are looking for easy answers to things, it's easy to
You have
fool them.
1 minute left.
Right. It's like, well, that like someone says, well, black people are bad and white people are good. I mean, it's a very simple thing. I'm guessing it's satisfying to a lot of people. And my position is, well, if that satisfies you, well, then so be it. I mean, you're not very smart, but hey, listen, you can in this world you can get a long way without being very smart. It's fine. But that's interesting to me. That's like, okay, they basically paid this woman up, Jeff on the string. Like I said, if you got somebody, I mean, listen, hey, listen, she's smart. I mean, of course she'll take anybody's money if they're giving it away. Anyway, I just heard Minute Maid chime in. So I'm going to drop and come back and we'll continue.
Sounds like a deal.
Yes, sir.
The caller has hung up.
All right. So, like always, it is Dexter Taylor Sunday here with myself and Carl on the other end there. If those who don't know, who are new here, we always have to do this to let you know that Dexter Taylor is right now sitting in prison. And so he's calling us from upstate New York, where he's serving a 10-year sentence. I always call him my political prisoner. Never thought I'll be able to say something like that, but I can now. Dexter Taylor went to prison on some racked up charges that the Democratic Party has used a black man once again for political fodder, and that's pretty much what's going on. You can always go to at Future Radiocast and look up his situation, his story, read about his story, and you say, well, what can I do? You could write Donald Trump. You can write Donald Trump Jr. You can write Pam Bondi. You can write anybody that's in charge. Just a little email. We're not asking for much, and let them know that
we are back.
We back. Okay. Hey, so Dexter, so all this stuff brings us to Carl.
Uh-oh.
Right.
I'm
gonna shut up and let Carl. I'm gonna shut up and let Carl tell you something.
Real quick, we might be having lawyer Joe joining us.
Okay.
She's a constitutional lawyer. So
okay.
She'll add to the discussion. So on my end, what happened was, I'm a believer in the Constitution, but I don't believe the Constitution is the end all to be all. If you get my point. Like, I believe in free speech. I believe that a person has the ability to express themselves however they want without government coming down on them, putting their boot on their neck. Right. However, societal consequences, it's something that I also believe in. When you say something, while I protect your right to say it, there is consequences in you being reckless with your speech. I akin it to, if I'm in the home of Reverend Tim, or I'm in your home, Dexter, and I disrespect someone within your home, you have the right to tell me to leave. I am not entitled to your home, your space, your energy, your friendship, or anything like that. If I step out of line, that's all I said. In a very more, wordy way on Twitter. I got people saying that I I don't understand free speech, and that's not free speech. And that, I'm a live because I'm calling for cancel culture, and I said no. Cancel culture is someone says something, you rally a group of people and businesses to completely stop associating with that person. I'm saying I can quietly say I don't mess with this person anymore and move on to the next. So I've been getting flack all day for that.
Well, you see, now this, and really, it makes perfect sense, Paul. Right? Because again, look, you look at all this stuff, and what is it? It's the tension. Like I said, I've been Charlie Kirk and Nick Point is dying for some tension. That's what I mean. This is tension-seeking behavior. So it makes perfect sense that people who are on board with that type of behavior will react negatively if you say, well, something, I have the right not to give this any attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's right. Of course. But yeah, I'm not, say what you feel. I don't care. And so, yeah, that's, again, it's good that you have these interactions because, again, it really lets us zero in on what the issue is. And the issue for a lot of people is, again, it's attention seeking. It's attention seeking. It's like, people who don't even have the skill sets to actually put together some kind of coherent message or platform or say something interesting that people would ordinarily pay attention. Say something profound. Say something consequential that people will pay attention to. Well, if that's your problem, and you still really, really, really want that attention, well, the next best thing is to say something outrageous. It's a natural human impulse to pay attention to something outrageous. And I've come to realize over the years that that's where a lot of this stuff is. It's like, this woman, I'm pretty sure no one's ever heard of this woman before. I'm pretty sure, like, you go online or whatever, see what she's doing online. You won't find anything particularly profound or interesting, which is fine. Not everyone has to be interesting, But many ordinary people have the kind of the grace and the common sense to be like, look, I'm not a very interesting person. I just live my life, and that's perfectly cool.
Real quick, Dexter. We got lawyer Joe on the line with us.
Lawyer Joe,
go ahead and introduce yourself, lawyer Joe.
Hey, Dexter, what's up, Frank?
Hey,
how you hanging in there?
Hanging in one day at a time. You know how that goes. Everything is everything.
It's good to hear your voice, friend.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just trudging along.
Yeah. See, let me just let it right quick. I want to get a lot of lawyers doing on it. It's like, this is, again, it's attention-seeking behavior. People who aren't that interesting, don't have that much interesting to say, don't have anything particularly new or original to say. It's like, you can say something old and unoriginal. And if you say it in an outrageous enough way or in the right context or the wrong context, people will be like, oh, yeah, that's, this person is the avatar of our new movement. Okay. I just think that's funny. I just think that's funny. And it's a little bit sad, but not very sad, because at the end of the day, there are enough serious people out there that we can get the work done that we need to get done. It's just unfortunate that, we've got to live with these distractions. But, distractions are part of life, too. Ultimately, all this stuff, it's like, it doesn't do conservatives any favors. It doesn't do progressives. It doesn't do populist conservatism, particularly, any favors. It's just, people bathing in their 15 minutes or 15 seconds of limelight. And in some cases, getting paid off. It's like, well, okay, So yeah, God bless their heart with $500,000 of attention money. That's a thing. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, I've been in, since even before I was doing conservative stuff online. I've occasionally worked in spaces where they were talking about all kinds of stuff. People were spicy on race issues and other stuff. And so like, a lot of this really is, people are delighted when they can say something that will get someone else or get a group of people turned up and annoyed like that. That's the thing. We can trace that back to high school. It was always the person who wanted to get people turned up and wanted to kind of like stir the pot and whatever. So nothing's changed. The instruments and the tools that they can use to do it have changed. We have social media and webcams and so on, phone cams and so on and so forth. But it's the same. It's the same thing.
Right. So
yeah, that's what I said.
So I get a phone call. Well, first off, I didn't say hello to our new guest that just jumped on. So I want to say hello to.
Hi.
How you doing? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you with us tonight. It's just a flow-free night, so everybody's just kind of adding their 2 cents to the garbage that we're in. I don't know if you know about the topic that we're talking about or not.
I know it has something to do with free speech. Carl asked me to be here as the constitutional lawyer person.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, she's a constitutional. For those people who don't know, Lawyer Joe is a fierce debater. She knows constitutional law very well. She is somebody that I go to when I'm like stumped on something when it comes to constitutional law. So she'll be able to, say what's legal and what is just people pretending to be armchair lawyers. So.
Well, the conversation is the lady here in Minnesota who got rich off of saying the N-word.
Yeah, okay, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So we was catching Dexter up on that, but then I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in here, which I think it's funny as all get up. So I get a phone call. Say, hey, Rev, don't believe. Hold on, because something's not right about this story. And I said, okay, no problem. So I sat on it. I get another phone call. Okay, we found out that this isn't a black kid that she said this to. And I said, what? And it's
Somalian.
Yeah. Said this isn't even a black kid that we said this to.
It's Somalian, I think.
It was a Somalian kid. And because they was like, if that was a black mom, if that was a African American ADOS FBA mom, right? Descendants of slave mom. Do you think that white woman, that's exactly what they said. Do you think that white woman would have been able to walk off that playground? Think about it for a second.
It depends on. Of course, she might have. Depends on. No. Wait. Hang on a second. First of all, I know that's bullshit. I mean, because, for example, I have a black friend who's a prosecutor. You think she's going to endanger her license to practice law and her job?
Well, somebody like somebody like that, Dexter. But your everyday mom who works 9 to 5. Come on, man.
No.
That ain't happening. Not here in Minnesota. Not the ones that I know, Dexter. Not the ones that I know.
Okay, that's where you lost me. Yeah, no. Because look, I mean, let's be honest. If we want people to actually see us as individuals, then we can't engage in essentialist bullshit. It's like there's all kinds of black folks who will respond to things in all kinds of ways. I've seen black men respond to that kind of shit, calmly and just like, and what have you. I've seen people respond with violence. I've seen everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing is true of black women. So, if you just tell me that someone is black and they witness something like that, that's not enough to tell me how they'll respond at all. in the same way, for example, that like you can't you say someone said something to a white person. Well, unless I know where that person is coming from, I'm not likely to respond. The person is affluent, they may respond one way. The person's work class, they may respond another. We see that all the time. So no, I'm not buying all that. And aside from which, if the kid is Somali, then the kid is black. I'm not with this whole FBI, what the fuck ever, ADOS, this, that, whatever. It's a black kid, whatever. So
no, they don't see it. No, not here in Minnesota. Not here in Minnesota, bro. They don't see it that way. The Somali community don't consider themselves black.
Okay, but that's the, okay. Listen. I get what you're saying, bro. But wait a minute. I get what you're saying, but that's their stupid opinion. I mean, like, okay, go try to. Okay, listen, young Somali non-black person. Go try to marry a Kennedy and see how black you're not. I mean, for real. Come on, stop it. Go try to marry one of George Bush's daughters and see how black you're not. Give me a break. It's like, your ass is black. Calm down. It's like send the person and see how black you're not. It's like that's just dumb. That's just dumb kind of micro-nationalism that you get from some people who come here from some third world countries and get really stupid ideas about rap. Because it's true in Africa, right? It's like there's not a concept of blackness the same way we have it here. That's true. Over there, it matters where you come from, what tribe, who your parents were, so on and so on. Okay. But once you get here, all that shit is out the window.
Yeah. They don't. So, but here's the deal. Now that we found out that it kind of let the air out. It's almost like watching a balloon go down because they were so high up because they thought it was a black kid. Now that they found out a Somali kid,
who was so high up?
Everybody who donated it to her, because I can guarantee you, if they would have known that was a Somali kid from jump, and it didn't come off as it being a black kid, she wouldn't have made as much money as she made. It wouldn't have happened that way, because all of a sudden now the true story is out there that this is a Somali kid. She's not all that important anymore. She was important when it was a black kid. But
I have to confess that I'm lost here. I'm completely lost.
All right, let me ask this question, and this is to all of you. What is your definition of free speech as it exists in this country?
Are you asking our lawyer friend?
I'm asking everybody. I want to start with.
I want to ask her first, man, because
I want to hear what she says.
I want to ask her first.
Okay.
Lawyer Joe, what is the definition of free speech when it comes to the Constitution?
It literally speech that the government can't punish you for. Well, first of all, I'm also a First Amendment absolutist, like I am a Second Amendment absolutist. There's no caveat in it. So it means that whatever I say, there can be no government, federal, state, local, doesn't matter. The government cannot punish me for my speech or my expression for any reason. Now, that excludes societal repercussions, but the government can absolutely not punish you in any way for what you say, regardless of how vile it is, regardless of how disgusting it is. It's up to society to police their own, not the government. So that's what it means.
What do you say? Go ahead, Dexter.
I would say that I more or less agree. I would say there's also a difference between the right to free speech as protected in the Bill of Rights and the larger culture of free speech. So it's very good that we have a body of law that restricts things that the government can do, that the state can do. And that's what the First Amendment does. It restricts what the state can do. The state cannot act against you for speech outside of some very, very limited and very clear parameters. For example, if you use your free speech to get on the phone and try to contract try to take out a contract on somebody, right? Then obviously that's not protected. You know what I'm saying? If you perjure yourself in a court of law, that's not protected speech. But outside these very clear exceptions, the government can't punish you. Society, that's society's job. Is society's job. I will say that the culture of free speech is something that is in a larger sense not really about the state anymore. It's about the kind of the willingness of people to speak out and the willingness of other people to hear people speak out on issues and kind of the kind of a general atmosphere of openness to ideas and things like that. But none of that, whether you're talking about free speech as a matter of law or free speech as a matter of culture, none of that, I don't think, really touches on a person's response to hearing something that offends them. If you come into my house and disrespect me, like, you got to go. Or you disrespect my family, you got to go. There's nothing against either the government free speech, the constitutional free speech, or societal free speech. There's nothing against that in that. If you say something unfriendly to me, I'm going to assume you're unfriendly, and I'm probably not going to associate with you. If we're already associates and you say something to piss me off sufficiently, we will cease to be associates. I will disassociate from you and associate with someone else. Again, nothing in either constitutional free speech or cultural free speech goes against that. They exist in different mental worlds, and it's funny that there are people walking around, supposedly grown people, who don't understand that. So I'll land there.
So when they talk about I'm kind of want to pick our lawyer friend's brain there for a little bit. So when they talk about hate speech, right? You hear people always talking about, well, that's hate speech. That should be this. What is? Oh, what was that? What is feedback? What do we? So what are they talking about when they're saying, when they were talking about hate speech? What is meant by that?
Actually, it's not. There is no specific legal definition for hate speech.
Okay.
It's not really. It's not a constitutional legal thing. It's a political.
Okay.
It's a political tool used by people who want to control. They want to control who gets to say what and who gets to be seen in what light. And excuse my language, it's bullshit. There is no hate speech. The Supreme Court has said numerous times that the speech that needs protected the most is what we consider the most vile, the most hated, the most. There's a reason why the ACLU actually represented the KKK in their Cincinnati case, because they were like, look, we have a right to say it. The ACLU even said, this is vile, disgusting, and we despise it. But they are Americans that have a right to say it. It's up to society to decide if they want to hear it or not. So it's like in England now they have it. If you call a trans person, if you misgender a trans person, that's criminal speech. I'm like, that is absolutely asinine. What I say to you is none of the government's business. Now, if I do something, I say something that hurts you, then there are civil remedies for it. There are consequences on the private civil level, not the government. So for the government to say this is hate speech or that is hate speech, in England, I'm Irish. In England, calling me a Mick would be hate speech, and someone could be put in jail for it. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I call other Irish people Micks all the time. I'm like, it's a thing.
Right.
So I'm like, it doesn't exist except in the minds of politicians who want more control. So there really isn't a definition.
Okay, so on Twitter, I can say whatever I want, and I'm protected, is what you're saying.
From the government, yes.
Whatever I want to say.
The government. well, from the government. But remember, not from the government.
We're going to get into right.
Twitter's a privately owned platform, so they can.
No,
so Twitter can decide to kick you off.
Well, Twitter ain't kicking nobody off right now. Twitter's letting
I know that, but I'm just saying.
Twitter letting everything go.
I got a question.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Yeah, wait. But what I'm saying is, Twitter does have the right to say, listen, if you want to say this, we're going to consider that, off policy or what have you. I mean, and look, let's be fair. There's some questions about that too, because that can be taken. Part of the problem is like, social media platforms like Twitter haven't really decided what they are. Like, is Twitter a communications channel, or is it is it like a communication?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask both you, Dexter, and Lawyer Joe, because that was a lawsuit against President Trump at the time when he was blocking people from his personal account.
Right.
And the official White House account. He was blocking people, and the Supreme, I don't know if it was the Supreme Court, but it was like a federal court.
It was.
It was the Supreme Court. Okay. Supreme Court ruled that he couldn't do that because of Twitter's status as a public square.
There were two cases that came out in 23, I believe. One's Linke, Landke versus Freed, and I forget the name of the other one. They were both about local politicians. One was a school board, and the other was another local level politician who had blocked people from their public Facebook accounts. And it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, look, if you use, as a public official, if you use a social media platform to disseminate any, and I mean any, information that your constituents have a right to hear or have a right to know or have a right to access, you absolutely cannot block a constituent, period. That's why they're like, look, if you've got, if you're a public official, you should probably have a private page that you could do whatever you like with, but you cannot share any public information on. And then you have a public page where you share, where Trump was using his private page as the page of the President of the United States.
Right.
And that's what the Supreme Court's like, no. If you have a private page that's Donald J. Trump, dude, cool. Right. But if you're sharing any public information on there whatsoever, it is now considered an extension of the public square. So you can't tell people they can't listen to you. You can't.
And that makes total sense. If not least as an extension of the right of the people to petition their government for redress. If there's a channel by which people can talk to their government, and then their government has no right to shut them out of that channel.
That's exactly
the other thing is, right. But the other thing is the larger question of social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth. Like we have an expectation that our communications platforms, right, like that the phone company can't interrupt the phone call that you're on and say, hey, you just said a bad word. You just misgendered somebody on this phone call. I'm afraid we're going to have to terminate this phone call. Everyone would be outraged if that happens. Okay. And by contrast, like publications, you have to have an editorial policy, right? Like in other words, you're not likely to see a bunch of Second Amendment stuff in the New Yorker magazine because they have an editorial policy, and they get to have that. And so the question of when it comes to social media, at least to me, is a social media platform a publication that gets to have an editorial policy? Because if it is, fair enough. But if it's a communications channel, then maybe what they need to do is carry my comms traffic and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a question that I think is I don't think it's been fully answered yet, but certainly when it comes to government officials on social media, I think that's what you cited, Laura Joe, is exactly that is a correct thing. That's the correct analysis. You can't, if you're using this account on the color of authority as a public official, then you can't block people.
Well, I've been corrected in my mindset when it comes to freedom of speech. I've always thought, like I said, hate speech was actually protected under the government. You cannot.
It is protected. It is protected.
Well, but if I wanted to stand out on the corner and call people names, nobody can do anything to me, right? mean, that's
Well,
I've got every right.
Wait.
I've got every right to stand on my. I got every right to stand on the corner, but what I'm saying is the government, but the government can't, right?
Oh, the government,
right. So we're with the we're with the government right now. We're about to change over in a few seconds to. If you did do that, then what would happen to you in public? We're still talking.
That's a different matter, right? I mean, and that's the thing, really, of just common sense. I think. I mean, I think that this is well, maybe this is a rant that's not for tonight's thing, but I think the war against common sense is a real thing. It's distressing when people feel that they need government rulings on common sense matters. If you walk up to someone in the street and disrespect his wife, you might get the beating of your life. And in which case, look, he'd be guilty of assault, but you'd still have gotten your ass kicked. The freedom of speech is
right.
And that needs to be common sense.
But if I take but can I take my neighbor? If my neighbor is using profanity at me and calling me names, and can I take that neighbor to court?
Yes.
That's a civil matter. That's different. That's a civil matter, not a criminal matter.
Yeah.
But hold on one sec. I just want to make sure that I understand. But if I could say certain things, why am I allowed now? If my neighbor can stand out with a sign right in front of his house with an arrow pointing to my house, calling me names, that's okay.
You could take civil action against them if you want. I mean, there are elements. It would be a type of defamation, but there are elements you have to meet. Like it has to have caused you, either some kind of physical or emotional harm, and you have to prove some kind of damage. But you could sue anybody for any reason. Hold
that thought. So. Because Dexter guys have to sign off, but I want to stay on this here.
Oh, I got to jump off. Yeah. I got to jump off and jump back on. Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah.
The caller has hung up.
All right. All righty.
Numbers going up, I see.
Yes, sir. It's funny. It usually spikes about this time, but I got a hard 9:00 tonight because I've got a early doctor's appointment tomorrow. I got to plug up.
No worries.
Plug out, but
no worries. I'll let Dexter know.
Yeah, on there. So I got that to do, but I want to make sure we clear it up for me when it comes to this freedom of speech and stuff like that. Because, like I said, I always thought that if someone is verbally assaulting you, in a bar, I've got a right to go, hey, that's hate speech. Let's go to jail. I want this person arrested.
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay, then I stand corrected.
It's actually it's one of the first things I learned when I was getting a degree in criminal justice. I hadn't even made it to law school yet. Words alone are not provocation. If you remember that, that words alone, you have a right to leave. They don't have a right to follow you and harass you, like if you're leaving, because then that turns into harassment. But if you're in a public place and someone's saying stuff that you don't like, you could leave. I mean, you could leave and get away from them, and that, or you can stay and take it, or you can, like me, realize that simple assault is a misdemeanor.
Dude said, what the heck is a verbal assault? Well, it's when somebody is calling you names and yelling at you and, effing you this and effing you that and following you around the bar, just screaming at you. Wouldn't that be, I consider that to be a verbal assault.
Verbal assault isn't a thing. It's not a criminal thing.
Oh, okay.
There is no crime against it.
Okay.
Because, again, you got to remember, for a crime, it means the government can punish it. But the whole verbal assault thing it's not a crime. Now, if the only way it becomes a crime is if someone threatens you and it's a threat that makes you have a reasonable fear for your life or safety. Like they're like, hey, I got a gun, I'm going to pull it out and shoot you, or I'm going to stab you, something like that.
Right. Okay.
That once they start making violent threats that are credible, that's different. But just calling you names and saying bad stuff isn't, because you can leave. You could be like, you know what, go after yourself and leave.
We got Dexter back on the line as well.
Hey, Dexter, I gotta give a shout out for you to from the Stand Still podcast. So just let you know, a big shout out from him.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Dan. God bless Brother Sam.
Okay.
Yeah, brother. I heard what you were talking about when I came back. As we were saying before the break, I mean, anyone can sue anybody. The question is whether you're likely to prevail. And yeah, the verbal assault, that's not a thing. Harassment can possibly be a thing, but as Joe, I'm sure, would point out, that there are elements to it. You have to prove certain things. You can't just be like, well, this person is harassing me. And I'm like, what's happening? But I just like to step back for a second and remark this, that, I'm reminded of something that I think it was John Quincy Adams said. He said, our Constitution is designed for the government of a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. So, part of what was animating the framers, when they wrote the Constitution and when they kind of constructed this kind of design for this republic, was the idea that self-government really does mean self-government, right? In other words, the assumption was that we'd have a republic of people who, in the main, know how to govern themselves. Because if you think about it, like, you can't, if you try to make provisions in law for every bad thing that someone could do for someone else, every unpleasantness that could ensue between two people, you'd be, I mean, you think we have too much law now. I mean, you'd be simply drenched in laws, little interfering laws that just made, life almost unbearable. So, yeah, it's a good general rule. Like, don't threaten people. Don't make credible threats against people. Don't raise up a weapon against someone without good reason. But then there's also a moral law. Like, don't bear false witness against your neighbor. Like, don't be a quarrelsome individual. Don't seek out quarrels with people. Try to be gracious. And there's all these things that govern that are about how we should interact with each other, that are separate from government, that are separate from the state, separate from the law. And it seems to me that conservatives, especially, should be the ones who cling to that idea, who embrace the idea that having the right to do something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So the law is just meant to cover edge cases, really. And to protect the peace from the wicked. But when it comes down to the brass tacks of how people interact, we have to be governed by something that's higher than the mere laws of man. So I'll just pause there.
Yeah. You want to add anything to that, Miss Lawyer? There?
Nope. I mean, what he said is it's spot on. Dexter knows his stuff when it comes to this.
All right. So, well, I thank you for coming on and clearing me up, because I was totally thinking something totally different when Carl asked the question. I would have said, I'd have been way out there, and y'all would have had to reel me back in, because.
Hey, man, when I tell y'all that Lawyer Joe is a rock star, she don't get the respect that she deserves on Twitter. A lot of people try to tell her about the law, and she's a whole lawyer over here. So I have tremendous respect. I have tremendous respect for her, because she works hard.
I got to start following her then. As soon as I get off here, I'm gonna look
She's
her
been
up.
to spaces with us before.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
she's a good. I vouch for her. She's a good person. She's not really.
Try to be.
She's not really a blockhead, but it's all right.
Right. Oh,
I really want to have a space with Laura Joe where we talk about this Department of Justice Civil Rights Task Force because Joey knows my case, so you know I'm interested in that.
well, we may have to do that next Sunday then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
We could do that.
Yeah,
And if this Lawyer Joe's free, I would love to have her back on. But also, I have Camille coming on too.
Oh,
for
okay.
next Sunday.
Okay. So
we can have them both. So we can have. I could have up to like 5 lines, so I can have her on the line too.
well, you work it out from that end, Carl. We just here.
Yeah, I said it.
we just so okay. So thank you all for straightening me out. I seriously learned something on today. So we do realize that there are consequences on the backside of that freedom of speech. Correct? I just want to make sure because
What do you mean?
what do I mean? Okay,
Yeah.
just like what Dexter and I was talking about. The reason why I was doubtful that the mother of this black kid, they called him black, was black, is that lady left the park. And I'm sitting here going, if that was a black mother, that woman would not have left the park. She would have been, as we put it in the hood, she would have been scrapped up. There's no way. So what I'm getting to is this here. Let's say that woman would have said what she said in that park. The black woman would have went over there and whooped her butt. Who's in trouble?
The black woman would have been, but not if she had a defense attorney like me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
then,
a mother.
Then
I'm
tell,
a mother.
Well, hold on now. Wait, see, now you done messed me up. Because first you say that lady has a right to say what she said.
Absolutely.
But if I go over there and say I'm gonna sock you in the mouth, I could go and get in trouble for socking her in the mouth. But if I had a good attorney, that attorney would get me off because she didn't have the right. Okay.
No, I'm not saying I'd be able to get you off because saying that word, regardless of how vile it is, is protected speech. There's no criminal element to it. Putting hands on somebody, there is a criminal element to it. So I can verbally slap you upside the head if I tend to have a pretty sharp wit and I'm pretty good at setting people off with that. But I could do that, but if they push me to the point where they get my right cross, then I'm in trouble.
Then you're in trouble.
I'm like, look, I'm a trained boxer, and I promise my tongue is more fierce than my right cross. But I'm just saying that's the kind of one where I would defend someone like that just because she did what society should do. She took someone who was being completely irrational, completely out of her friggin' mind, unhinged, and she put her back in her place. That is the one thing I've always loved about my black friends is if there's anybody I trust that I can go to that I'm like, no, I need to know the real shit on it. They'll be like, look, this is what it is, and they won't bullshit me. And that is something I appreciate more than, and it's mostly like black women who are like, no, oh honey, no. And they will lay some shit down the way it needs to be laid down. And I'm like, if more people would do that, if you knew you were going to get slapped upside the head for saying some shit, you might contemplate maybe not saying it again. And I think that should be defensible, but in this country, it's not. So, but I would defend it. I'd be like, look, this is a mother who, when a person, especially like a white person, said that word, I mean, that type of word tends to be followed by a violent act. Not always, but she had a reason to believe it could be followed by a violent act towards her child. So she acted out in protection of her child. And, I could do a very good job of probably getting it from possibly aggravated assault to like defense of a third person and, a misdemeanor assault, because that's a good argument.
I mean, and so here's what I would say. I would say that, as a matter of fact, you probably could get it fled down to a lesser offense, but only because fewer than 5% of criminal matters make it to trial anyway. They've almost always fled down to something. If you have a good lawyer, regardless of what the thing is, they can almost always get it fled down. That's one. And of course, taking nothing away from your skill as a lawyer, I'm going to say. That's one. Two, I have to disagree. I mean, right? And second, I would have to disagree. Put it this way. I mean, I take a more, I don't want to say nuanced, but my view is a little bit more oddball. Like, look, I would say this. Yeah, like if you, how can I put this? Like, if you come to me in the street when I'm with my family, there's certain things that you could say to a member of my family that might indeed induce me to slap the shit out of you. Okay, and if I do that, and if I do that, I am guilty of a crime. That is a crime. I'm not going to shy away from that. If you say something to my mother, for example, and I slap the shit out of you, yeah, I should be tried for assault because I assault and battery because I did put my hands on you. Now, I also think that if, provided the woman isn't too badly beat up, it's like someone slaps or whatever, then, the punishment shouldn't be extreme. I don't necessarily think, you put your hands on someone and all that happens is someone got their face slapped and maybe got their feelings. I'm not sure that should result in imprisonment, but we have to, to me, it's like we have to see that as a crime. We have to see putting hands on someone as a crime. Otherwise, where are we? Otherwise, we're back in the law of the feud, where someone can say one thing and that is a blood feud, it's a physical matter. And I just don't. And by the way, I have a high enough opinion of my fellow black people. And I think we're just as able to control ourselves as anybody else. Put it that way. Okay?
Right.
So if let me finish. If we want to insist, and I do insist, right, that we are the equals of any other ethnic group, then it has to be the case that we can be held to the same standards as any other ethnic group. And therefore, if a Chinese person pops off and slaps someone because they said something about her village or this, that, whatever, well, then she's guilty of assault. And if a white person, if someone goes to some section of Boston, that's outside of Boston, and says like the Celtics suck or whatever, and someone slaps you, and then that person's guilty of assault. I don't want to occupy any exalted moral position with respect to the law and my fellow citizens, because I don't want anyone else to occupy any exalted position with respect to me. You feel me? And so I don't, to put plainly, I don't want to be above anybody else as a matter of law, because I don't want anyone else to be above me as a matter of law. And if we get into the thing of, well, yeah, this person committed assault, but it's not really an assault. No, it's like that's where mercy comes in. You say, but mercy presupposes judgment. So let us judge crimes based on the elements and the facts, right? And then once we judge, yes, you should have known better. You did something wrong. Then you can come with mercy and say, okay, listen, your mom and, the woman was being an asshole, so 38 community service, we're not going to sit with you, kid, what have you. But justice presupposes, mercy presupposes justice. And if we insist on justice, and I, not of all people, but I particularly, just right now in my current situation, have a thing about justice. I feel a kind of way about justice. So if we insist on that, right, then we have to insist on the other thing. That's just how that is. And I'll end with this. I'll also say this. Remember that I'm in here with a lot of people who didn't know how to control themselves out in the street. I'm in here with a lot of people who, for whatever reason, this, that went down, blah, 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 blah. The next thing you know, there's a problem. There's an assault, maybe there's a body, and they're in here. If we don't want if we don't want more and more young people to end up in here, then we got to change our approach to how we to the kinds of things we celebrate and we want them to emulate. So I'm a big, as everyone knows about me, who knows me, I'm a big Second Amendment guy. But when I talk about the Second Amendment, I talk about defending. I talk about the right to defend your home, to defend your family, to defend your sacred place against someone who's jumping out on you kinetic. I have no grief for anyone who wants to jump out kinetically against words. I'm sorry. No, now, here's the thing. If I hear about someone, saying racial slurs in the street and getting the shit out of them, I'll be like, well, you looked for that. Because you did look for it. You looked for Trump like that. But at the same time, I would also expect that the law takes it seriously and it is actually assault because it is. So I know that seems like a weird point of view, but that's where I land on it.
Yeah. So,
go on.
So, Veteran of Dissent says, if you are willing to hit someone over words, that at least be willing to defend the action in court.
Yeah.
Oh, I got no problem with that.
Right. So but then he says, the flip side of that action could be very well be a knife in the heart. Well, the white kid that stuck the white kid that stuck the Mexican kid in the heart, he got off. Just found that out a couple of days ago. Just saying.
For me, honestly, something like that for me, especially if it comes to like getting slapped, getting punched, nothing like not murdering someone. But for me, it's that whole the government cannot punish you for speech. I can say what I want. However, should I attack someone else's being by using words that society does not approve of, using language, using gestures that should not be appropriate in civil society, and I get slapped for it? That is society handling it. Like, I'm not going to do that again. Or at least I'm going to think about it. Well, you know what? I didn't like the last time I got punched in the nose. Maybe I must shut my mouth. Kind of, it's that whole Robert Heinlein in an armed society is a polite society. You know, if you pull a firearm, that person over there, you might have a bigger firearm. So you just kind of keep yourself, under control. Well, if you start spewing off some racial slurs and being a misogynist and just an overall bigot, and somebody like me comes along and backhands you, maybe you're going to think twice about doing it again. It's society handling the problem outside of the government. Now, it needs to be, it kind of has to be reciprocal, or like, it can't be something that's so out of form. Like someone says that, right. Like someone says that it needs to be like a reciprocal thing. You say that and I backhand you, well, that's it. I can't get on my gun and shoot you or stab you or do some horrible things, just enough to give you the amount of social embarrassment that you just tried to bestow upon me using that kind of language.
But if I feared for my life,
the problem,
but if you hit me,
the problem is if I hit you because, like, for example, like you see, this is the thing that I talk to my daughter about often. Like, don't catch it. By all means, I've taught you how to defend yourself. By all means, defend yourself, but don't go get into physical fights with people, especially men. Because that shit where Angelina Jolie beats up half a Marine regiment is fiction. Like, you're going to get yourself killed, right? So, to me, it's like, look, I understand what you're saying about society handling things, but the whole point of having a moral society is that there are other ways, there should be other ways to handle things we don't like than violence. Now,
but that's pretty much what it would.
I'm not saying that I'm going to weep if I hear about someone getting backhanded for calling someone a nigger. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the law must operate in the same way.
Okay, let's look. Let's look at the law, though, Dex. Okay, so if you call me a Negro, and I smack you, and you fear for your life, and you pull your gun and you shoot me.
No. Yeah, well, but wait a minute. First of all, you're skipping a step. I'm talking about the law now.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the things that human beings may do, because human beings may do anything. You're a church man. Like brother will rise up in the field and slay another brother for any reason or no reason. That's the second oldest story in the book.
True.
Right? So I'm talking about the law now. If someone says something to you and you strike them, you're guilty of assault. That's how that is. And again, speaking as a black man, speaking as a race man, I don't want any special favors from the government. I don't want the government to say, well, because to me what that smacks of is, well, what can we expect from you people? I'm not with that. Okay? Again, look, I had a discussion like this last year, or this was the year before, with that sissy Brendan Schrock, who was talking about wearing his Niggas for Trump t-shirt. He was like, yeah, I'm going to wear a Trump t-shirt, Niggas for Trump. I said, yeah, go out to the corner of Atlantic and Van Center wearing that shit and let me know what happens. And listen, I wouldn't weep if someone went upside his head, but it's also the case that the person who went upside his head for having that t-shirt would be guilty of assault. That's a crime. So we have to be real about this shit first. Because you see, if we start elevating all this shit like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, someone does this, blah blah blah, again, like the kids who really jack that shit and who were being raised by the street in the first place end up in here with me, and I don't want to end up in here with me.
I want to touch on something real quick, Dexter, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
There's this expectation. I'm with Dexter on this. There's this expectation that black people, if called the N-word in public by some other race, that we're going to respond to violence. And it's because of this expectation that I'm trying to fuck that bullshit narrative. Because not all black people respond with violence. Most are, hey, let me get away. Let me leave this area, leave this wherever I'm at, the spot I'm at. Let me go somewhere. Let me keep a camera on this person. Like, the first instinct for black people now is to pull out a camera phone and video this person and put them up on the internet to bring attention to the incident, not to smack them upside the head or beat them up. Or
honestly, guys, real quick, I'm going to interrupt. I learned something. I never thought about it being a white woman. I never thought about it the point of view of it looking like then people are saying, well, we can't expect any better of them. So that is not what I meant at all.
I know. Lord, I know. Nothing against you. I know that's not what you meant. I'm not saying that at all.
I never really looked at it from that. And I thoroughly appreciate that point of view. Like, it makes you feel like you're just the little kid who can't be trusted with the big toys.
Exactly.
So
what everyone else, exactly. My wife, I'll let you get back in, Carl. I just want to say, okay, exactly. Like, my white brethren are supposed to control themselves, bro, in public. They're expecting to know when to put their hands up and when not to. Okay, so the expectation has been set everybody. Everybody. Chinese kids, Indian kids, Chinese adults, Indian adults, black adults, doesn't matter. That's exactly right. And if we insist on equality before the law and equality in society, that's what that means. That's what that means. Equal. And not equal except when someone, quote unquote, attacked my being by saying some shit I didn't like. And by the way, I've been called nigga before, bro. No one said it's not an attack on my being, bro. It's just a dumbass fucking word. That's all it is.
I'm not
going there. I'm not gonna melt. I'm not made of sugar. You feel me? And the real attack on my being is the fact that I'm in here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that was right. It was a government that railroaded me, behind some bullshit because they don't respect my rights.
And let's be honest. In today's time, where everybody wants to prove a narrative and go viral, sometimes that person that's calling you the N-word is trying to provoke you into hitting them.
Hold on. Time out. I don't mean to stop you, but see, here's what I mean when I'm talking about people having a right to say certain things. So I've got this dude, veteran of dissent, who just said there's a stereotype that black people can't control their animal emotions. That type stuff right there. See, that right there, if we were face to face, I would be in. So you're telling me that right there, you're right. He's right. Some black people can't control their I would be one of the people that if he said that to me, I would knock his ass out, literally, because I was a boxer.
Right, but then, right, but
what I'm going to do right now is because he was so foul in what he just said. He could have put that in a different way, but he's about to be blocked.
Yeah, some people look. What I've learned being on social media in general, people say things to provoke you because they want a reaction out of you, so they can make fun of it. They could prove a narrative or something like that. People take screenshots all the time, and screenshots are more than likely out of context. They know that most people in society are not going to take the time to look up what they're talking about. Like earlier, I had Dexter going through my head when I was arguing with somebody who wanted to invoke the 1350 fallacy. And what was going through my head is Dexter saying, you're bad at it. No, the 1350, like 50% of the population, 13% of the population has committed 50% of the crime. And what was going through my mind was Dexter's famous line of, you're bad at math.
Right.
Like, because you don't.
I readily admit I'm horrible at math, but I've never said that shit.
I know you. I know you wasn't a lawyer, though.
But I'm bad at math.
You understand persecution, being Irish and all. So,
I just wanted to admit that I'm bad at math. That's all.
So I don't fall for this provocation, like people trying to provoke me into to react in a certain way. Because if you guys ever seen my drafts, I be wanting to say the most craziest stuff to people, but I have a public image to uphold. So, no, I remain calm.
Well, I mean, and here's a really funny thing, man. Like a lot of the people, how can I put this? It's like if I had a record mile long, right? Because I had a habit of responding.
You have 1 minute left
to verbal provocations, right? Many of the people who support me in my cause now wouldn't think about that, right? The whole thing about my case would be a very different animal if I had a string of assaults 5 years long.
True.
It'd be like, oh, wait a minute, this guy, right? Okay, so this is serious shit that we're talking about, and again, like we don't want people to use essentialist reasoning when they deal with us, and we can't use essentialist reasoning when it comes to judging, other people in our ethnic group, and how they respond to things. Anyway, I just heard a minute made, so I'm going to drop and come back. I know you guys. I'll stop at in about 20 minutes. Rest. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds like a deal.
Yep.
Perfect. We'll see you.
Thank you. The caller has hung up. Thank you for using Securus.
So again, for those who just tuning in with us, if you're brand new with us, this is Dexter Sunday. This is what we do on Sundays. We call Dexter. Well, Dexter calls Carl. Calls on the backside tonight. We also have with us a lawyer, and I'm glad that she's here because, like I said, cleared up some stuff for me. I learned something new today, so I feel good.
So did I, Reverend Tim. So did I. Amazing how that works when you talk to people and you can learn things.
Right?
You accept that you don't know everything from every point of view.
Just, wow, what we could do together if we all just stop this crap and we just sit down and talk to each other. If we was to have conversations with each other, just think of what we could do. Then
the government would never allow that.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. That means the Democrats and the Republicans would be pissed because they would have nothing to do because it'll be all for the people.
For a very, very long time, like very long time. I'm like the whitest white girl you'll ever see. But I was raised by my grandparents. And during the 40s, 50s, 60s, they were working class, like low blue collar working class. So the people that they ended up working with were a lot of the black families in the community, and there weren't a lot. And I was raised to believe that there's good people, and then there's assholes. They're one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
The color's got nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. That's the way my grandpa taught me. So from the time I was little, I was always like, well, but my biological father is the most racist, disgusting person ever. And I was like, look, if you always just apply there's good folks and assholes, and they're one or the other, and race ain't got nothing to do with it. And like, I just always, I learned a long time ago that the us versus them should be the people versus the tyrant. That has nothing to do with how much melanin you have in your skin, or how little melanin, I have in my skin.
Say that again. Say.
Us versus them should be the people, civilians, citizens, all of us, versus the tyrants who want to control us.
Unbelievable.
Through race, through gender, through socioeconomics. We are all, here's the thing. Every person on Earth shares 99.9% DNA. 99.9% DNA. So I'm like, my, 0.1% Irishness and your 1.1%, Africanus, whatever the official term is.
This week, I don't know what we are.
I'm not a science person, so I just call everybody, my friends. And I might be like, oh, no, the black lady there, that's my friend, but not the lady next door.
Right.
I don't know. Everybody's always like, you can't say that. I'm like, but I was told I could say that because they're my friends, and I'm just using a distinguishing characteristic. For me, it's no different if I said, the lady with blonde hair. No, not the lady with black hair, the lady with blonde hair. No different. I don't give a shit what the characteristic is if it lets a dumb person know who I'm talking about. That's the us versus them. I got nothing in common with the tyrants who want to tax me into poverty and who want to lock me up for saying words and who want to, tell me how I can live my life. I got more in common with the darker skinned people who live in the middle of the ghetto. I did find out.
I always say people who eat Fruit Loops, because everybody eat Fruit Loops.
Yeah, they do. And if they don't,
wait a minute. We can't be friends. Did somebody just say somebody? Somebody just said they didn't eat Fruit Loops?
I do not like Fruit Loops.
Oh,
Carl just said it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Well,
I'm an Applejack kind of guy.
Oh, okay. Same thing. Okay, Apple Jacks. Everybody eat Apple Jacks. I eat Apple Jacks too, so I'm good. But pineapple on pizza, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's just
Crystal. Is Crystal on here tonight? Is Crystal on here? She knows. I love messing with her on that. She knows it. I love messing with her with pineapple on pizza.
I'll talk about constitutional rights and race. I'm not bringing up pineapple on pizza. That's
wow.
Well, yeah. Listen, I think it makes sense that the law has special measures against people who put pineapple on pizza. We're a dangerous society. We live in a civilization, bro. Come on.
True.
Have you seen the way Carl eats Kit Kat?
Somebody.
Yeah. And we got
Crystal on the line. We got Crystal.
Oh man!
Reverend Kim talks about
I'm in my business, and
it wasn't me, Crystal. It wasn't me. I plead the fifth.
What's up,
Crystal? I plead the fifth. Crystal, I plead the fifth.
Nope, I'm ratting him out right now.
Wow.
We were all being friends and nice, and now all of a sudden I just see nothing.
Hi, Crystal.
We got to be able to call out the heretics. We have a churchman on the line. If we can't call out heretics with a churchman on the line, then
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Y'all all are Judas. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Y'all hang somebody that quick. I mean, it was quick too. She didn't even get on the phone. She did not get on the phone right, and y'all was telling on me. Y'all are some Judas. Boy, unbelievable.
No.
It be your own people.
Be your own people. Thank you.
Your own people every time.
Come on, Crystal. Tell them about it.
We thought you
officer of the court.
the pineapple.
I have to have candor with the tribunal. It is my duty. I'm sorry.
Wow.
He went to tribunal. Okay.
So
what's going on, Crystal?
Sometimes you just gotta stand on your own principles, you know. You gotta stand by yourself sometimes. You gotta stand by yourself.
Right. I'm beginning to believe that. So how you doing, Crystal? How's it going?
I am well, Remington. How are you?
That's good. I'm good. So I always have to say, I love you, right? Just throwing that out there. Letting you know. But because what happened, Crystal, was we was talking about Fruit Loops, and we was talking about what things we was talking, and Apple Jacks, because Carl said he didn't like Fruit Loops. And then, but he said he liked Apple Jacks. And then our lawyer friend said she liked Apple Jacks too. But then I start thinking, we don't like everything, like pineapple on pizza. I'm just saying.
I don't understand why you can deny yourself goodness, but if that is your choice,
that is not good. Stop.
Double down at it.
Stop it. It's not good. That's a psyop.
No.
Exactly. That's a psyop. You fell for the psyop.
Just to add my 2 cents on the other conversation, I'm an Apple Jacks girl over Fruit Loops too.
Wait a minute, you like Apple Jacks over Fruit Loops? See, I know it. There's people in this world that just ain't right.
Okay, Reverend Ken, I take it back. The us versus them is the people versus the tyrants. It's those of us with taste versus, those other people.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't like Fruit Loops.
Wow.
There you go. I'm thinking.
There are world problems that we are debating over food when there are people starving in other countries.
Yeah. And you know what those other people won't eat? Pineapple on their pizza.
What if they don't like Fruit Loops?
Remember they used to tell us kids there's children starving in China that would love to have that pineapple on their pizza.
No,
I ain't never heard that. I ain't never heard that.
Listen, that just shows you those people have standards. They have to be starving before they get the pineapple on pizza. That's insane. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
We about to die. So let's eat this pizza.
Right.
I mean, that's how far you have to go.
Firing squad. You're about to go in front of firing squad, and we're going to get you pineapple on your pizza just to mess with you at the last time that you're going to eat. I'm just saying.
Wonderful final meal.
Final meal. I'm just saying. Oh no, we're going to get you Fruit Loops for your final meal.
To be fair, I like all cereal. It's bad for me, so I can't even.
Yeah,
I'm a grown adult who just I'm not giving up cereal. I don't care. I'll fight somebody.
It's not my thing. If you like it, Reverend Sam, I love it because that's just the kind of person I am. Unlike haters.
No, I'm not a hater. Wait a minute.
The haters that just won't let you live with your pizza choices, like.
We're just concerned for your well-being.
No, I think I'm down to let those pineapple pizza people live, just like not within the civilization. Like find some settlement and put them all in there. I'm good with that. You know,
like the leper colonies.
My man said we gonna put y'all in service camp.
Yeah, exactly. So we can listen. Wait. So we can keep an eye on them. See what they're getting up to. Yeah,
that's a good idea. We have to keep an eye on those people who. Wait a minute, Crystal. I got a quick question. I got a quick question for you. So on your buffalo. On your buffalo wings, are we ranch or blue cheese?
I'm a blue cheese girl.
See,
I'm doing blue cheese.
See, wow.
As long as there's no celery, I don't care.
Nah,
I would do ranch or blue cheese.
I ain't do no blue cheese. Come on now,
blue cheese is good.
A good chunky blue cheese.
You know what?
I mean,
I'm hanging out with
chunky blue cheese.
I like a nice chunky blue cheese.
I could do both, but if you're asking me to choose between the two, I'm doing blue cheese.
You know, Hidden Valley just made a new couple of like dipping sauce products, and they actually have a ranch blue cheese mix thingy that they got now.
Wow,
it's good. They're the best of both worlds.
Oh,
wow.
I may have to try that.
I have not tried it. I almost bought it. Like they just released it. I almost bought it, but I was like, man. I like my Newman, like the Paul Newman. No, it was a Ken.
Oh, the Newman, yeah.
Not the Paul Newman, the Ken.
Oh, Ken, yeah.
But
yeah, that's good stuff too.
I might try it. We'll see. But yeah, give me blue cheese here. I'm kind of intrigued, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, if I see some, I'm gonna get some and try it. I'll be the guinea pig.
These type people.
If you don't hear from me again, it was awful.
When you're done,
well, I mean, hopefully we'll hear from you again, even if it's awful. You know.
Hey, Chaz, I don't know why there's 700. Well, we got 900. We almost got 1,000 people again in the room. But Chaz, I don't know why there are over 700 people watching on Twitter and only one person on my. Because you know what, Chaz, I don't promote my my YouTube. Like I should, because I just learned how to use the thing, and I keep forgetting about it. So I don't promote my YouTube as much as I should. So I think I'm gonna have to start.
DM me the link.
Okay,
Reverend Tim. So when we do this again, I can include that link to the YouTube channel on other social medias and Twitter, so people can follow you on there.
When you call them people just mind in their own house.
But wait a minute. It's going to be a different link each time, because the eCams link is one thing, but the YouTube is going to generate a different. So each time you go live, Rev, you got to email. You get DM Carl the actual YouTube link.
Oh, so I thought it was the same
thing. To YouTube, and I'm pretty sure it's not, because it's going to be a different video. It's a different video, so it's a different link. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. No, I don't know.
At least that's how it worked when I was doing it with live YouTube.
Okay.
But
we'll get it.
I wish I got that. You guys
fall and harass peaceable people minding their own business.
Really? Oh.
People American.
So hey,
the pineapple. What?
No. I was going to ask Crystal if she had any comment on the situation that people are running around here using a reason to call themselves starting a race war. So just see if she had a comment on that crap.
I think that's HIT. And I think this is primarily online, because in reality, nobody's doing anything.
Correct.
And I just need the spirit of short attention span, which we seem to have a plenty. To just kind of permeate the atmosphere right now, so we can move on to something else. But
I kind of agree with that. I mean, like I said in the beginning, this is mostly an attention-seeking behavior, and it's not unique. It's not even unusual. It's just like that's what these people do, because they don't have the skill sets to actually do things that are interesting, things that are written, things that are actually thought-provoking. it's just like, okay, we're gonna say a bunch of stuff that's gonna get people riled up, either for or against. And listen, and if that's how they do, God bless them. It's just that I'm not, we don't have to buy into it.
Right.
And of course, the other thing is we have serious work to do.
It's boring.
We definitely have serious work to do.
Like we could do. It's boring and it's basic.
Yes, it's boring and basic. Correct. That's right.
It's
That's right.
it's not adding to the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, how many times Nick points this on to the same shit, man? Come on. Aside from which he's upset. Let's be honest, he's kind of upset. So, of course he's going to say something that's very provocative and then stand back. That's what federal assets do.
I'm not going to lie around Christmas time. I will do this. Well, with the nog versus anti-noggers, eggnog is disgusting and shouldn't be a thing. And I absolutely
Whoa!
I want you to know.
Whoa! Wait a minute. What did she just say?
What did you just say?
Eggnog is vile.
So what do you eat? Do you eat like? Because I already know Carl doesn't eat food like. Carl eat food. No, you said you had a lot of hang-ups, which I understand. So this sounds like Joe might be on the same wavelength.
I'm just saying.
I can't believe somebody said eggnog is. Whoa! I'm still missing that one somehow. But
here's what's funny. Here's what's funny. Joe recently on this very stream, Joe said, "Hate speech is not a thing."
Right.
And then she said, "Eggnog is disgusting."
Yeah.
I think that's hate speech.
I made you some delicious eggnog French toast.
Oh yeah.
A few months ago, like December.
Yo, I mean, to tell you, I had that recently. That is the best thing that's been invented.
It was delicious. I found it on the internet. Good sometimes
for recipes. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. This is just. Again,
no. We can't. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things we could get over, but eggnog. I don't know if we get over
this means
the pineapple pizza thing. We can overlook that. The Fruit Loops. We can overlook that.
Let me sum it up, Reverend Lawyer Joe.
Yeah.
Declaration of war accepted.
Exactly. There you go. And matter of fact, we need a lawyer to represent us. So will you represent us against you?
Okay, it's all good. I remember that. I remember that.
That's how I think you missed the whole eggnog war that happened over the holidays.
Yeah.
Okay,
it was an eggnog war.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
I'm
the lieutenant of the anti-nog people. Just deal with it.
Wow. So you just chose violence.
Coco and Joe hate eggnog, and there's like a lot of people that hate eggnog for some reason. But
that's not even a level.
It's not.
That's not a level.
Carton.
It's a lot of people who just ain't right. That's how that is. I mean, what do you do?
Well, I've never pretended to be right. So I guess we're good there.
Listen, first of all, you can't pretend because you don't like eggnog. So right away,
right?
It's okay.
I've never been accused of being normal or right.
Oh wow!
In the head.
Yeah, well then, you and Carl with his Kit Kat habits will I think y'all will find each other kindred spirits.
I eat a Kit Kat in a revolutionary way.
Oh, we can get into this tonight.
I mean, Prince, the way Prince was,
you go bring Prince in on this?
Yeah, I'll bring Prince in.
You putting yourself in with Prince?
Or you
the revolution.
Wow. They have a body in the basement. I mean, it's the subject of conversation.
He's
wow.
I can't even with y'all right now. I cannot even, Carl.
Oh my goodness, man!
I eat it. They just hating. They don't like revolution.
Prince and the Kit Kat Revolution.
Well, hey,
Carl and the Kit Kat Revolution.
Well, hold on. I completely forgot about the other thing that's floating around. What do y'all think about the picture of Trump in the Pope outfit?
I'm not sure. I don't care.
Here's the thing. I see Trump as a troll.
It's a troll.
Trump likes to troll people.
It's a troll.
I mean,
it's a funny troll.
it is. Like that picture was shared before he ever shared it. Right,
yeah. I think one of the news wires said that he came out with the image, but I don't think that's true. I think someone
no, he didn't.
Someone did that shit in Photoshop or whatever, and then he just shared it or liked it or whatever. But I don't care. Just don't care.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, cause I seen that picture floating around like a couple of days before he even shared it.
Right, exactly. So
this is fake outrage about.
Yeah, you said fake outrage, Crystal? Is that?
It's just people to be fake outraged about. If we be fake outraged about something, then I don't. We can't function. So just something else to be fake.
Bread and circuses.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I too thought it was funny, and I said the same thing. Fake. Here come the fake outrage. This is gonna be good. So when I was
situational Catholics,
it would have been funny if JD Vance was the one in the Pope outfit.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
Like that would have been some Game of Thrones type stuff.
Ooh. I'll call him for violence.
He still got to top the trash truck for me, personally.
You want?
Trump still has to top. I think the trash truck is my favorite troll.
Oh yeah.
And the mugshot in the White House.
That's epic. I mean, that's
crazy.
Right.
Like,
wait a minute. He put his mugshot up the White House.
Yeah. His official White House portrait.
That's pretty okay.
Mugshot.
I think that's pretty cool. Are you sure? Wait a second. I thought the official portrait was him after he got shot. That's what the AP News wire said he put up in the.
Oh, he might have both
portrait.
up, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
White House, his official White House portrait is his mugshot from New York.
Really? Well, I have to say that's funny. That's very funny. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah.
I admire his commitment.
I'll send you a picture of it. I'll email you a picture of it.
I admire his commitment to the troll.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely following through with the troll.
Respectfully, it needs to be studied. Like, love the man or hate him. It needs to be studied. It just needs to be, like,
the effect he has on some people that you're just like, dude.
Get a man his props. Like,
yeah. I mean, he knows how to get the left particularly into a tizzy on a month's notice, which is pretty cool. I'm sure. I'm not mad. I mean, the thing I find annoying is when people take the trolls and then they kind of like craft a serious narrative around it. We were in a space not long ago where cats were talking about how, we really need to take over Greenland because that's a troll. Yeah. One, that's a troll. Two, you weren't thinking about Greenland before. You know what I'm saying? Before last month. Calm down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying.
Really annoying. Like, just relax. Yeah.
Like, just take the joke, move on. That's funny.
Yeah, take the joke and move on. Y'all
got shit to do.
And he only keeps doing it. He keeps falling for it. Like, he keeps falling for it every time. He's going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's like, does he? But it's both sides. Canada? No, bro, he's not taking over Canada.
It's both sides that's falling for it because you got these so-called conservatives taking this theory, talking about invading, and then you got the Democrats who's talking. Like I even heard the new prime minister talking about, what Trump said about Canada becoming the 51st state. I'm like, bro, I mean, that you really take that serious.
Bro, exactly. Bro, first of all, that's such an old-ass joke. You know what I'm saying? Literally, that's been a joke forever. So how come, like, all of a sudden it's this big problem? Like, oh, is he really going to invade? Bro, like, no, we're not going to.
Because Orange being bad. Orange being bad. So we can't actually be thinking for ourselves.
I personally don't want Canada, so, you know, there's that. Mm-hmm. They can keep Canada.
You don't know what do you say?
All of Canada.
You say you don't care what Canada does? I agree.
I don't want no parts of Canada, personally.
Have you seen what they call bacon? That's a war crime,
ma'am.
No, exactly. Canadian bacon, bro, it's ham. Calm down.
It's ham. It's not even good ham.
The crazy stuff
not even good ham.
Out of their mouth. Like, you are in Canada.
I learned
something. They love coming out in the war.
Yeah, I learned something about Canada today. You know who we need to get on here one time, Carl? I don't know if you know this guy. His name is Dale Robinson. You ever heard him or dealt with him in any way?
I haven't, but I could reach out to him if he's going to be on next week's show.
He lives in Canada. And I learned today that Canada has different rules about what we were just talking about, that they actually have rules that protect people. I would like to get him on here and listen to.
Wait a minute. Protect people. When you say protect people, what do you mean?
Yeah, he said.
Do you mean that they have hate speech laws?
Yeah.
That's not protecting people. That's not protecting people. That's just empowering the government for no good reason. That's what that is.
Extra tyranny.
Correct. Well, he did say that because they're talking about banning Twitter in Canada.
Oh Lord.
Well, yeah, I mean, again,
the four people for Canada.
He said.
I mean, look, that really does make sense because Canada has been run by that sissy Justin Trudeau for so long. It's begun to wear off. It's worn off on the rest of the population. And now, well, actually, I shouldn't say that because really it's just the government. It's just the government is kind of like run by sissies, and so it makes sense that they want to ban Twitter. That's just
okay. So
yeah, because actually, think about it. Ordinary Canadians have too much other shit to worry about. You know, like the oil in their cars turn into caramel when it gets like 20 below. They don't care about that bullshit. That's sissies in the parliament. That's what I think.
Any government that tells you to put your keys out so that people can come steal your car.
Exactly. Thank you.
You have no sense. Like, I jump here this week. Like, really?
Right. Exactly.
Keep my keys out so they can come and steal my car because you take one to defend myself, but also make it easier for the criminals. Just let them take it on. Get out.
Real quick, I wanted to ask Dexter something because this was a discussion that we had a couple of days ago. But regarding the 14th Amendment, there are some people who are in favor of repealing the 14th Amendment because they feel like birthright citizenship is being misused. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, my thought is that first of all, the idea that you should repeal a protection in law because sometimes it's misused, right, is beyond asinine. Because the nature of any right, first of all, any right can be used to a wrong purpose. That's the first thing. So if we're going to say that certain protections shouldn't exist because people abuse them, then it's like I don't see how those same people can turn around and say, well, the Second Amendment is sacrosanct, or the First for that matter, or any number of rights.
The government takes their money and uses bad stuff all the time.
Exactly, but let's keep this in a separate bucket because we all want to shrink the government. In other words, we want the government to stop, and we can, at least in theory, make the government stop. But we don't want the government to make it stop speaking just because some of us use speech for bad ends. So I'd put that in a different category. So I'd say, look, this is another example of people who call themselves conservative but really haven't thought the matter out too deeply. Now, here's the thing. birthright citizenship either is or is not a good idea on the merits. But that has nothing to do with whether or not people misuse it. And then also, and the last thing I'll say is, as a conservative, I mean, I'm hesitant to start changing provisions in the Constitution because people have become particularly head up about some issue in a political cycle. And conservatives, people who really are conservatives, should be similarly kind of circumspect. Like, they shouldn't just be like, oh, yeah, let's change this because, I mean, are you conservative or not? What the hell? Really? So, one presidency decides to declare an open border policy. One president declares an open border policy. And then you're like, okay, now we have to change the Constitution around. Again, this is what I keep going back to. A lot of people call themselves conservative, but they're not really. What they are is worshipers of state power.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
And that's just the problem. See, I'm actually conservative. Like, I'm really skeptical of the state. I'm for the free individual. I'm for the family. I'm for the community. I'm for, the rights of man. But then I have a fundamental conception of what man is. And it happens to be a Christian conception. A lot of conservatives are just like, they're just happy to back the right part, what they think is the right party or the right people in power. And, if that's how they do, that's how they do. But that's not good enough. And that's another reason why conservatism has such a bad name. Because conservatives get out there and say a bunch of shit that is not at all conservative, and people think we're not for real. And that's it.
See, that's exactly what I said. Like, you do away. If you don't take away a constitutional amendment.
You have 1 minute left.
What you need to do, if you want to change the language within that, then yeah, but don't take away the constitutional protection.
Nah, I don't think, one, it's never going to happen because 3/4 of the country would have to agree, and that's never going to happen. So
that's why I said that.
Fuck everybody. I don't know. I'm with Dexter, though. So because the regime changes, we're supposed to change our entire base of existence by me.
Well, I mean, first of all, here's the flip side is this. We don't need, as a matter of fact, let's face it, we don't need a change in the Constitution to actually deny constitutional rights to large swaths of the population. New York State. Look where I am, right? No one had to repeal the Bill of Rights to get me in here. So again, this goes back to the thing of conservatives have too much work to do.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Oh, did we lose? Okay, Dexter's off there. I didn't even hear. I didn't hear the 1 minute, or I would have said something to him.
I heard it.
I heard it.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah, it was very clear.
Well,
you had 1 minute. It was very.
They say 1 minute. They say 1 minute.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give him a few minutes. I had a hard 9 to get off of here, but it's funny when you start having fun here.
We're so compelling that you just can't leave.
Right. No, I've got to go because I have to do my treatment because I have kidney failure. And
gosh.
Yeah, so I have to plug into this machine at night. I have to be on this machine for 9 hours. Oh. And so I have to go to my kidney specialist on tomorrow. But they made the appointment for like 8:00 in the morning. So yeah. So and especially if people knew what I had to do just to get ready, to get off to this machine, to pack up, to get things ready, to get myself prepared to get ready, to get unsick in the morning, just to go to the doctor. So the doctor will be like, okay, everything's okay. You can go home. 15 minutes. And then I turn around and pay him $800 for being in his office for 15 minutes. That's a true story.
At least you remember to plug yourself in every night, unlike Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, we got that.
Hey, Dexter.
My goodness.
Is he back? Okay. Hey, All right, good. I like I said, I was going to stay on here for a little bit and see if you came back because I don't like when we just cut off and we don't give you a chance to sign off. So I'm glad you called back. Plus, we was having fun, so much fun. I didn't even hear. Well, I keep calling her lawyer lady. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You just call me Joe.
Joe, thank you. So Joe, yeah, I like lawyer lady like better. Joe, that's just plain. That's like having blue cheese with your wings. That's plain.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I see what you did there, Rev.
I think it's more basic to have ranch on your wings because ranch is just
Wow. Okay.
It's just soup basically.
Everybody's throwing darts tonight.
Blue cheese got a little zest to it. It got a little ranch. It's just soup.
Just hate flying everywhere.
Right. I was saying if I wanted this type of hate, I'll just go on my normal Twitter and deal with them people. or I'll go on Carl's Twitter. I'll go on Carl's Twitter and read.
All I know is I was sitting there, I was cleaning up my kitchen, I was eating dinner or whatever I was just doing, and I was minding my business, and then I get a phone call and I got accosted for eating pineapple pizza. So the great Commonwealth of Virginia, minding my business.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute. Stop. I gotta ask a question because someone in here told me something that I was deeply skeptical of, but the dude was so adamant. I was like, I gotta check on that. Someone told me something. What did he say? You can't actually own land in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It always belongs to the state. Is that true?
It's true in every state.
No kidding.
Because think about it. You can own it, but if you don't pay the property tax that the government tells you have to pay, what happens?
No. We're not talking about that. I'm saying no. I know about that. I'm saying you can't buy a piece of land.
That's not true.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I was like, but this guy was so 10 toes down. I was like, did I miss something about Virginia? Okay.
But how do you know?
I think he said he had family in Virginia or something like that. But I was like, I don't know, brother. I'm skeptical. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Of course, we know about the property tax thing, and property tax kind of takes away, the fun of ownership. But aside from that, of course, okay, that's what I thought.
I thought that's he Letitia James. Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Don't
Somebody should start. Somebody should start. I better check my account here because people throwing that out there. And next thing I know,
I ain't the one that said I lived in a state, but I lived in a whole other state.
It wouldn't be a discussion without talking about Letitia James.
Man, I cannot wait. Hey, by the way, is it true that she just got subpoenaed by the DOJ?
Yep, that is true.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they're all in the same box. They're all in the same box. Ain't nothing gonna happen to her. Watch.
Wait. First of all, why are they all in the same box? I don't get it.
They rub each other's shoulders. They put on a show for us, and we get all. They put on a show for us, Dex, and we get all jacked up and be like, "Oh, they're gonna."
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Pam Bondi is not a New York Democrat. She's a federal official. So since when do New York Democrats and federal officials in Trump's administration love each other? Since when?
I didn't say they love each other. I just said they rub each other's back.
Well, give me an example of federal government rubbing New York's back under Trump.
No, I don't think anything's going to happen. Ain't nothing ever happened to any of them. I mean,
nothing ever happened
because they're all crooked. They're all crooked.
First of all, wait, hang on a second. First of all, that's not true because I remember when Sheldon Silver went down for corruption, and that was huge. Sheldon Silver was the guy. Sheldon.
Who was
Silver.
he? What did he do?
Speaker of the House. He was the Speaker of the House in Albany, in the state legislature, New York.
Okay.
And he was the guy who basically everything that happened in Albany, you had to keep his ring. If Sheldon Silver didn't approve, it wasn't happening. Doesn't matter what it was. Okay.
Okay.
And I remember when Sheldon Silver got taken down. I think it was a federal beef. I don't think it was a state thing. I think it was some federal corruption charge. But he went down and he did time.
Rob Blagojevich of Illinois went down on federal charges.
That's exactly correct.
Oh, Rob was just stupid. Right.
But what I'm saying is, so was Letitia James. That's what I'm saying. She was just stupid. I mean, you come on. It's like you go for a mortgage, you have this certificate of occupancy, it says 5 units, and you're going to say 4 because of what? Because you feel like it?
All right.
You can apply for federal mortgage assistance and lie on the form. Okay, well, you're going to get busted. So, no, I disagree with you 100%. It's like she's going down. And it's going to be, will it do time? Probably not. I don't need her to do time. I just need it to be done as a political entity. That's all. I just need her not to be in office anymore. I'll take that any day. And yeah, that's likely to happen. Again, this was a criminal referral, bro, from the FHSA, from Federal Housing Agency to the DOJ. Yeah, no, they're going after her, and God willing, they're going to burn her down. So yeah, that's that's what I'm hoping.
Understood.
You know.
Okay, hey, before you have to sign off, let's get everybody's take on tonight. We want to start with Joe. I mean, the lawyer lady.
What take?
So
what am I saying?
Well, we do parting shots. You know what you thought of the night. Anything that you want to add to it, or anything of that sort.
No, I appreciate y'all having me on. Carl had asked me before if I would do something tonight about constitutional law and some issues, some questions that he had, and I'm always more than happy to help if I can, because this education is worthless otherwise. And I learned something, that there's a point of view that I honestly had never considered before, and I'm grateful to have had that put in my purview. And I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Always ladies first, Crystal. Even though you got in on the short end of the stick, but I'm just saying.
That's fine. All I know is I was minding my business. But it's always good to talk to you. And I really enjoyed my short little time here. And to all the ladies out there, if I don't talk to you next week, happy Mother's Day, not Inseminated Persons Day. Womb ever. Happy Mother's Day. And
thank you, Mother.
Human female.
That's right. Amen.
It's your mic, Carl. Where did Carl go?
Man, I love having this conversation with you guys. I mean, learn a lot. It's always so engaging. I hope the audience out there was as engaged as I was listening to everybody go back and forth. The usual things. I posted a link under the chat, under Reverend Tim's chat, that has Dexter's stories, legal links. If you want to donate to his legal fund, if you want to follow him on X, his handle is @FutureRadioCast. If you want to follow updates on what's going on with his appeal and stuff like that, you'll be able to find it there. It's always good to chop it up with Dexter, get his expertise on things, and I'm so proud that Lawyer Joe joined us today because, like I said, this woman is a badass. I also learned an Irish song, The Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yep.
Oh, The Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yeah, I learned that this week, so I went to go see
nice.
dinners. And so Yeah, I mean, you guys are, again, I had made a comment last week when it comes to the women behind the movement of getting Dexter out of there and exonerating him so nobody else has to go through what he's going through. The women have been the backbone of this movement. People like Lawyer Joe, people like Crystal, Sonny Johnson, Dana Lash, Moni, all different people. Fizzy, they've helped me out with spreading the word, and a lot of different people, men and women, have helped me out with facilitating these phone calls because they are expensive, but I do appreciate it. That's about it.
You on, Dexter?
Yeah, so I also always enjoy this conversation. It's almost like the old days, get to chop it up with my people. So yeah, I just urge everyone to keep spreading the word, keep reaching out, try to inform people. This is a legal matter. My case is a legal matter, but these legal matters are always have an additional kind of political dimension. That's just how it is. So the more people know about this case, the more the politics around it begin to be consequential, which is good for us. So, keep reaching out. By all means, reach out and tag influencers who you think might want to talk with me. I'm always glad to talk with strong two-way people and reach out to new audiences. Reach out to the Department of Justice. Reach out to Pam Bondi, especially reach out to Harmeet Dillon, who's the point person on civil rights over there. And also reach out to Mark Stein because again, I recently learned from one of my UK friends that I'm basically 1 degree of separation away from Mark Stein. So reach out to him and again any other names that you think might be friendly to the cause and help us shed some more light on what the lawless Democrats of New York State are doing. And God willing, we're going to win. So that's it. Love y'all. Great to be with you all, and thank you, Reverend, and thank you, Carl, for making it happen.
All right, man. Like always, I didn't actually usually say the things that I say during our little breaks when Dexter is phoning back in. But if you want to support Dexter, we would love for you to do that. And like you said, a little short note to Pam Bondi. I mean, we got almost 1,100 people in here tonight. Good number, like always, when Dexter is on. But what we're asking you to do is just send her a note. I mean, just, hey, Dexter Taylor. If you know somebody that, Joe Rogan, send him a note. Dexter Taylor. Let's get this going, because this man do not deserve to be sitting in prison a day longer. And I believe that. Carl believes that. Crystal believes that. Joe believes that. And if we wasn't so into what's going on with him, we definitely wouldn't be behind Dexter. We thought that he did something wrong. We definitely wouldn't be behind Dexter. I mean, the man don't even have a record, and here they are to lock this man up for 10 years. I can see if he'd have done something, but he didn't do anything. So that's why we fight as much as we can for him. That's why we talk about him, put his name out there, say what needs to be said. And, even if Trump can just say his name a couple times while he's in one of his rallies or whatever, that would be awesome. But we're gonna keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting. So with that said, we're going to end the night like we always end the night. Realize and understand that we serve a mighty, awesome God. And I know God is looking down on this here, and God will never give you more than you can handle. Dexter's story is going to be lifting people up one day. I can guarantee you that. But I thank each and every one of you for being here. Carl, thank you for all you do in the back channels. Dexter, appreciate you, man. We're going to love you big time. Crystal, you know I love you. You know that. No ifs, ands, or buts. And Joe, Miss Lawyer Lady, I'm so happy to meet you on tonight. But y'all have a good night. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace, fam. We out tonight. Bye now.
Yo, you're a friend.
All right,
Lawyer Lady.
Yeah. Y'all have a good night,
everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Good night. Bye.